Salut coders, this is Pisky here. Welcome back to another tutorial. Warm greetings to those who are joining us for the first time. In this tutorial, we want to integrate with Stripe and Spring Boot. This is the way if you are not PCI DSS compliant, and most of you, I know many campus are not PCI DSS compliant. So this is the tutorial for you if you want to integrate with Stripe so that you don't store any card details for the customers, and it's security risk. So Stripe no longer want that functionality. But before we go any further, I created a platform for e-learning, so you can go at codewithbiz.com and you can find tutorials, and some of the tutorials will be here even though they are not available on YouTube. So you can go here and you can buy some of the tutorials, or you can do subscription. If you go to subscription, there are benefits of the platform. If you are a subscriber, you can get the latest videos before they are available on other platforms. You can have live coding sessions, and you are guaranteed to get 2 videos per week. And also, we are focusing on reward application development. So if you are a subscriber, once you log in, you can see if you go to student courses, you have this subscription courses. So far, your course for subscription courses, you can see them here. So if you are interested in this platform, may you kindly subscribe to this platform and learn more on this platform, and more content will be coming on this platform before they are available on YouTube. So let's continue with our tutorial. So what we are going to achieve here, we are going to create this endpoint called session payment. We are going to create a session. So what you can do, I can try do an example, and you click execute. After click executing, you can get this URL that you can use to make a payment. So after copying this URL, you can open it on the browser like this. And this is the payment that you manage, and you are in test mode, and Stripe is handling for you the card details. So you are not worried about PCI DSS. Here you just put any 4242 for testing, and we just say 45, and here we end future date because this is a testing. Then you can just click pay. After a successful payment, you'll be navigated to a page on your client, which maybe it's an Angular, React, anything, so that with a session ID, meaning that the payment is successful, and you can show your user that the payment is success. You can see it's routed to this payment session with the session ID. So if you are new to this channel, make kindly subscribe, click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever you upload videos. I saw most of you guys are watching these tutorials are not subscribed. Can you click the subscribe button so that you can get the latest content, and you can also support the growth of the channel. So let's get started. So previously, we were sending card details. You can see we were sending the card details like the expiry date, CVC, and also all sort of things. But now we want to change this functionality. So since we are not PCI DSS compliant, we need to create a session, and we can handle that. So we need to create. Let's go to this model, and let's copy one of it. I can paste here. I can say session request. I can call it session request DTO, and in my session request, and I click OK. So what I need, maybe I just want to pass a user ID, and here we want to get a session from Stripe so that we can navigate navigate in that session. URL is the one that we are going to use for payment. So here I just say session URL, and here I just want to change this to map, and from my map I just want to say string. So this is the another information that we can put, additional information of things that we want to do payment. So after doing this, let's go to our Stripe. We have our Stripe service that we already created in the previous tutorial. So if you go to Stripe service here, and this was the old implementation, and we don't want to use this implementation anymore. So let me first minimize this. So here I'll just say public. This is our session, and I just say create session, and in our response I'll just do this. Then for now I'll just return this session. Okay, so in our session, this one, it's like session requests DTO. So let me just change it. Let me change the class name. I'll just say session DTO because it's going to have a request and response. Yes, let's update this. Here, in case of an error, we can return a message here. So, if you haven't watched our previous tutorial of Stripe, you can go and watch the tutorial, but it's no longer necessary if you are not PCI DSS compliant. So we just continue with this logic that I'm doing here. So in our POM XML, make sure I added this dependency. I'm using this dependency, Stripe 21.12.0. And in here, so in your init, make sure you just did this in your init API key, Stripe API key, and we are getting the API key from your properties. So that's okay. So what you can do now is to come here. Yeah, what we can do here, we need to create a session. So from Stripe, we just say session. We need this one from checkout, session.create. So from create, we want to use this method, which is this one with session create params. So this is the session that you want to use. So what you can do here, so before I do that, I can just do this. So here they use a builder pattern. So here you just say builder. Then after you do your builder, we need to pass and we need to say which mode are we trying to do. So the mode that we were trying to do, it's a payment. So we want to do a payment. If it's a subscription, you change the mode to subscription. And in our mode, we need to pass a customer ID. So we need to know which customer is making the payment. So in Stripe, we need to send a customer ID. This ID, we don't just send this customer ID. We need to send, because in Stripe, we need to create a customer if it does not exist. If it exists, we can get the customer. So what we can do for now, let me put this, right? And we need to send, we need to tell them, we need to let the Stripe know the success URL in case it is successful. So in case it's successful, we need to say if the URL, let's put a client URL. So let's say string client URL equals to HTTPS like this. Then here you put your domain. Then you put the port, or just you put like this your domain. For me, I can just say localhost. If you are running an Angular project, you just put port 42, Angular 4200, I think so. Then this is going to be a URL, and for the success URL, we just now do this. This is the URL that we want to use, and we just say success. Means a front-end developer has to handle this, and the session will be like this. session ID. So you get the session, and the Stripe will send this session, and it code checkout. And for a cancel URL, we just say cancel. For cancel URL, like what we did here, we just copy the same like this and put it here. And you need to handle this, and we just say failure. So this is the URL that you're going to handle in case of a failure, like this. So here, I want to do a builder here. Since this is a builder, so here we need just to do this dot build. So you can see this thing can throw an exception. So what you need to do, we can handle this exception by putting this in a try catch. We just say try, and we can put it in the try catch here. We can catch the exception here. Let's put a broad exception, it's okay, but this one's supposed to be stripe exception like this. Then we said if we have an exception, we can handle this exception by set the message to exception dot message. So here we can just log this dot error, and we just say error, we just say exception, and we can put the method name here, and for exception I just put E here. Here I can put E also. So here we have managed to create, this is the session that we want to, but so far we don't know which we don't know the amount that you are going to pay. So we need to update also with the amount that you are going to pay. So what we need to do, we need to add a line item here. So for the amount here, we just say add item and amount here. So what we can do, we just do this dot add line item. So this line item, you can see we can copy this line item, and we can do this with this line item. Then I told you we use a builder always, and here we just set quantity. We just say set quantity, and the quantity of things that you want to purchase. Maybe if it's 1, we can do this, and we can set also the price data. Set price data. We need to set the price of this item, and you can see it's price data. Yeah, price data dot builder, but this one, no, we need to remove this builder because we need to set an amount of this. We need to set the product data. Let's set the product data here, and it's going to be product data. You can see everything as a builder pattern. So let's remove this build again. Here we can put a metadata here. So the metadata, you can just say app ID, and you can put something like the ID, like the ID maybe of the product that you want to purchase. If it's a cart, you can put it here. Let's say it's a cart of 1, 2, 3. It's okay. Then you can come back, and here you can also put the metadata. Maybe you want to put anything that you want, you can put it in the metadata. maybe it's the user, maybe you need the user ID. You can do this like from our session detail dot user ID. Maybe you want to know the user ID. Maybe this one was for the cart ID, and you can also put the name. Let's say the name of the product. You can say any name, like this one, maybe it's shoes. You are purchasing for shoes XL. After done this, we just say build. And after you are done with this, we just also say dot build, like this. So in here, I think we can set our currency. Let's set currency. Maybe the currency will be USD. And we can also set the unit amount price. Maybe this one will be, let's use this decimal. We can just say a big decimal. And we can put the value of, maybe the item was $20. Let's say here your amount, you did a query. Make sure if you are working with amount, let's say it's double amount, I can say 23. So make sure if you are working with amount, you can retrieve this amount from the database, not from the request. So make sure you retrieve it from the database, because someone can manipulate the amount. So here we can just say this, and you need to multiply it by 100. So if it's 23, this one requires in cents, it's supposed to be 2300. So it means it will divide by 100. So stripe one slice, something like that. Here, that's where I made a mistake here. I think we need to send it add item, not all, because it requires a list. So here, I think we need here to create a build like this. So this is the item that we are going to purchase. So, and we will make sure that we are purchasing something for $23, and it will be multiplied by this. Make sure in your parameters you added this. So there's something that I need to let you know. I want to show you with this session parameter. So we need also to add some metadata. When we want to pass this, we need to pass the metadata into our payment intent. So what we can do, we can just say, so in our payment intent, so this one is just for checkout. So we want to have the parameters when the payment is successful or not. We need to pass those details into our payment intent. I will let you know when we are doing the webhooks. So by now, let's just do this so that will be done with the payment intent. So we just say payment intent data from this checkout, right? We just say payment intent, and we can just say payment intent. As usual, we are using builders here. We are using a builder, and we put a metadata, and in our metadata, we can just copy what we put here. These are the same details that we need also. The name doesn't matter. So the user ID, maybe the app ID, maybe this one is going to be the cart. So what I can do, I can just say cart ID to make it clear. And here I just say cart ID. And here we are okay. So in our intent here, in this one, we need to pass this payment intent. And just say set payment intent data. And we can pass this payment intent data. So after doing this, a session has been created. And after creating a session, let's do this .var. We can get the new created session, and we need the session URL. So what we can do with that is set session URL. It's going to be session. So if you need the ID, you can also do the same. You just say session ID. Session ID. You just do the same. Here, just set ID, this one. Session ID, here just say get ID. This is the new created session. So by doing this, our URL will work fine. So we need to code this in our API. So what we need to do, we can go to our API, and we have this Stripe API. Let me create a v2 one. Stripe API, Stripe v2 API. Yeah, let's version this v2, and let's delete everything that we have here. And here let's pass session TTO, and supposed to return this session TTO. And this one, it's session payment. Here we just create a session, and we can pass this. So we can test this API. So here it's going to be public. Let me do this here. I want to version this here. Yeah. So I put public because I added security to this service, and I want to use this service. So I don't need to secure this endpoint for you to test, because some of you are not familiar with security. So we can test together. So we have left with one thing. Here we need to set a customer. Here we need to set a customer. So we need a customer. We need to know the customer here, which is making a payment. So based on this URL, so we need to create a customer. So the first thing that you need to do is you need a customer, which is from Stripe. Customer. You can find or create customer. So in this method, we want to pass the email address. Maybe the email will be test@gmail.com. This is the email of the user who is making the payment. And also the name. We just say it for the name. I'll just say test user. So we will create this method, and here we just say .id, where when we said customer, we just say .get ID. This is going to be the customer. So let's create this method. I'll say Alt Enter, create this method, and it's for Stripe. I need to search this user by email. So what I can do here, I just use the code customer, search params, right? And I'll just say params equals to, remember we are always use a builder, this one. So what we want to do here, we want to search by email address. So set query. Here we just say set query. We want to search by email, user's email address, to find the customer. If the customer exists, we can get that customer, or we can create a new customer. So what we can do here, you just say email, and we put a single quote here, and we pass an email here. Here it was mail. Then you say plus, and then you need to add a closing quote of this. Then after doing this, we need now to search a customer. So just say customer. Then we can search with these params. Then we can get the what? The result. So this thing supposed to be in try catch. So let me just do this. Add to a method signature like this. And what we can do, we can now look if you get any data here. If get data is empty, it means we do not find a new customer. So we need to create a new customer. So we need to say customer, create params. This one. Customer create params.builder as usual. I think you are now familiar with this builder pattern. It's easy. Then we need to set a name. Set a name, and that's the name that we passed here. We just say name test user. We will refactor that to name. Then we need to set an email so that next time when we are searching this customer, it already exists, and we just say mail. So after doing this, we just say customer.create. So what I want to do here, I just want to do this here. Just below here, customer, you just say customer. Here, just say customer equals to customer dot create, and we can create from this customer params. So after doing this, we can return this customer, but we need to initialize this. Since this one, we need to enter into else part. So in the else part, we just say customer, means we found the customer. We just say result, customer result. In fact, this search, get data dot get at position 0. So it means we are always one customer per user. So this is our method, and here we just say shift F6. We just say email. Let's refactor this. Shift F6. Here we just say full name. So after doing this, we are now okay. So this logic will now work to create a payment for our user. So let's run the project and test. So our project is working fine, and let's see the port where it's running. This one, 9585, 9095 integration. So what I can do is to come here. This one, we need this one. So we created a v2. This is the endpoint that we want to test. So far, our board does not have anything. If we try to do it, we are going to have an error. Let's see the error. We have an invalid API key for Stripe key because I didn't provide the correct IP, the key here. So you need to take the API key from your dashboard. So what I need to do is you need to go to Stripe dashboard. So on your home, and make sure in the test mode, you can copy your API key. So for me, I can copy this API key. So after copying the API key, you need to paste your API key here. You need to paste your API key here, and you can restart your application. Our endpoint to create a session. We can click execute. After clicking execution, you see you get a session URL, which is this one. So let's copy this URL and test. So this is the URL that a user will be navigated to make a payment. So you can do this. You can see we are paying for the product shoes XL of 23 euro. So here as a user, we just put the card details 42, like this, and you can just say pay. So after a successful payment, so you put 42 or 42 if you are in test mode. It's a testing card that you can use. So after a successful payment, you can see for a success, it's now go to this URL, which is 42 and success, and we have a session ID. So if you go to our dashboard and you can go to our customers, you can see we are now have this test user, and this test user has made a payment of 23 euro and the payment was successful. So thank you guys. If you are new to this channel, may you kindly subscribe, click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload new video. Salut coders.